Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Kim and the Crease podcast number 106. My name is Kim, also known as Isles Girl 3, and we are here. I was gonna take this week off. I thought nothing gonna happen. It's the All-Star break. I told you guys last week we're gonna just take the week off. We're not gonna really talk about anything. Nothing's gonna happen. And then a bunch of things, crazy things happened that no one expected. But I guess that's Lou Lamorello for you. So here we are in the midst of the season, and big blockbuster trade just happened for the New York Islanders. We just traded for Bo Horvat, captain of the Vancouver Canucks, for Anthony Bovillier and Atu Ratu. And I know what a lot of you are saying. I know, like, Kim, you didn't make a video about Bo Horvat. Kim, where's the Bo Horvat video? Kim, what's your thoughts on the? Well, we're gonna get to that because I just not had the time via my, as you guys know, I do a full-time work. I just have not had the time to sit down and make I want to make quality for you guys, and I have just not had the time to sit down and make a quality video about the Bo Horvat trade, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because more has happened since the Bo Horvat trade, because we also have a signing to talk about. So, as you know, Bo Horvat is from the Vancouver Canucks. So, I had to get a special guest on here to help me talk about this trade and help me talk about everything Vancouver Canucks. He knows Bo Horvat to a T. He's made a song about him, which you guys should check out. And it's the 24 Karat Magic. It's an amazing song. Even Bo Horvat saw it. That's how cool this guy is. Okay, so if you guys will help me, look at Lucas. He already knows. If I can just introduce this legend enough, CanuckClay is here to join me. What's up, CanuckClay?
Hello, Kim. Thank you for the nice intro, and yeah, I'm excited. You blessed me with your presence last week when the Horvat trade got announced, but now we can talk about the trade and the signing. So thanks for being here. I'm not in a hospital break room closet. I'm in my office, but you came through for me last week at 2:30 in the morning, mind you, your time. So at noon is the least I can do for you. So thank
I
you.
appreciate that. Yeah, guys, if you don't know, I was on CanuckClay's own podcast, his own channel. If you haven't seen it, quick plug, Clay. Tell him where to find you.
Thank you. I am indeed CanuckClay on YouTube and Twitter. Do nightly live streams at 11 p.m. Pacific, so 2 a.m. for many of your viewers. But yeah, mostly Vancouver Canucks talk, and built a wonderful community here, just as I know you've done for
Yeah,
your channel
you're
as
an
well.
incredible
Thank you.
streamer. Like, incredible. It's
Appreciate it.
amazing how much you've grown since day one. I remember when we rated you and you were scared.
Yes, Kim and John Hot Take Hockey rated me, and I actually thought my computer had a virus. So I,
I will
yes,
never forget that. It was one of the best things on the planet.
thank
But
you,
yeah,
thank you.
someone said you tweeted it out. That's why they knew.
Yeah, I kind of cheated. Yes, yes, yes.
You cheated. But yeah, big things for my team, big things for your team. So this is a lot going on. So obviously the Islanders traded Bovillier, Ratu, and a conditional first round pick, but it's protected for Bo Horvat coming to the island.
You know what's
And
funny, Kim? It's funny because you do what all of us Vancouver Canucks fans do. For some reason, Bo Horvat is not easy to say, and then when you say it quickly, it always becomes Bor Horvat,
it's like a
or
tang tongue
or
lure,
yeah,
like
or Bull. Yeah, so you call him whatever you want. You call him whatever you want.
but yeah, Mr. Bobo. Like I love it. But essentially we traded a Bo for a Bo.
Yeah, Bo for Bo.
Basically. I just have to think of it as Bovillier because like his name is literally Bo.
Yeah,
And that's what we called Bovillier is
your
Bo.
Bull is way more expensive now, though.
Damn straight he is. Yes. And yeah, a lot of things changed. He's 25-year-old for Bo Horvat, who's a 27-year-old. We then yesterday, glad we didn't do the podcast yesterday. Things work out because then Lou slams a deal on the table with Bo Horvat, 8 years, 8.5 AAV. So I want to get into first your thoughts when you first saw the trade. What do you think about Bo Horvat in general, and we'll get into contracts later. But give me the skinny first. What did your
Sure.
reactions?
When the Vancouver Canucks extended JT Miller back in the summer, that was the writing on the wall. And that was kind of unthinkable, Kim. If you thought about it a year ago, a year and a half ago, you knew that Horvat and Miller were going to come up at the same time. And the thought was Horvat was the guy we drafted ninth overall back in 2013. He is our captain. Of course, you're going to keep Horvat the true natural center as opposed to Miller, who did have a 99-point season, bit of a hothead you may have seen, and just kind of not really sure what kind of player you're going to get out of Miller. Maybe higher ceiling, but definitely Horvat has the higher floor as the center. I've heard that description. So when they signed JT Miller to 7 years at $8 million per, and you're thinking about you got to sign PD down the road, you still stuck with OEL and Myers, and you got Kuzmenko and Demko and Hughes. There simply wasn't enough money for Bo, and they were saying the right things. Apparently, the final offer the Canucks made to him was 7 times 7.5, which is nowhere close to 8 times 8.5. So I am happy for Bo. He was my favorite player on the Canucks. I'm going to wish him well. I don't want them to do too well because it helps our chances at a draft pick. We'll get into that later. But the city loves Bo. There's debate whether this contract is too. We'll get into this too long, too much money. Bo was solid for us. He's having a really good season. It's weird to say a breakout season in his 9th season of the year in his career, but I think obviously that helped him get paid. So, but we'll get into that in a second. To answer your very first question, as soon as Miller got signed last summer, it was a matter of time. And I think what's surprising, it happened on All-Star weekend, just before All-Star weekend, as opposed to closer to the trade deadline.
Yeah, it was shocking. I thought something would possibly happen towards trade deadline. That's why this came out of the blue. No one saw it coming. I was driving to work. I told you, and I saw like 1,000 messages on my phone, and I was like, "What the hell's going on?" And I just see trade, and I'm like, "What did we trade?" I was like, "With whom? And what did we trade?" And of course, it was just immediate shock. I was like, "We did what?" I was like, "What? What is going on?"
And I know this is your show, obviously catered to Islanders fans, which is awesome. But so let's instead of me asking you, because you said this to me already, is what can we expect in Bovillier? What are Islanders fans going to miss about Bovillier? Maybe is a better way to put it. So
yeah, and I told you this on your podcast, and this is from my guys. Bovillier, again, he hasn't been having a peak season. He hasn't been, I guess like Hutch, you can say he hasn't been scoring the goals. He's had a down year this year. And, there's a lot that goes into that. I feel like it's been, new coach, new lines. It's been a lot with chemistry reasons too. But Bo, he's just such a lovable guy. Like like a Horvat. He on and off the ice. He has just been lovable. He was a fan favorite, honestly. I'm gonna miss just his enthusiasm for the game. Like I told you, on his stick he writes have fun with a little smiley face on the tape of his stick. Every single stick you will see have fun with a little smiley face, because he loves the game. He wants to keep it fun. And that to me is, I remember when I played sports, and before every game my mom just looked at me and said, "Kim, just have fun out there. Doesn't matter as long as you're having fun." So he has good moral principles. He's, just a guy off the ice where he was just a sweet, as you could see him as a person. And I'm going to miss that mostly about him. But also he did, again, my favorite Islanders moment of my entire life. And that's scoring that clutch OT goal, 118 into OT against the Lightning to bring us to Game 7. Nearly brought me to tears next to my father at that game. Hugging Islanders fan. You were hugging the people next to you, behind you. It was.
Are you a hugger?
Moment of my life as an Islander.
Are you a hugger?
I am a hugger. Absolutely a hugger. You at an Islanders game, the fact that we clutched that Game 7 being down, we'll never forget that goal. And how many people tweeted that at him, that you gave us one of the greatest memories of our entire lives. You know what I mean? So he became Mr. OT after that.
Wow. And I know the Islanders are playing tonight against Philly, right? And we're playing the Devils.
So we're going to see Mr. Horvat.
Yeah. And Bovillier, he's getting the best opportunity. He is playing with Pettersson and Kuzmenko tonight as to start off.
Oh wow. They're really
Yeah.
just pushing him out there. Like I saw him in the practice jerseys, and you saw my tweet going like,
Yeah.
"This is wrong. This is so wrong."
Throw up emoji and then crying emoji, right?
Yeah,
In that order.
I'm throwing up and crying everywhere. What is this?
And then why couldn't he wear 72? Is it because Lou doesn't like high numbers? Is that the only
Exactly.
reason?
Lou
Oh,
came
wow.
in. He was young. Lou came in about 4 or 5 years ago. So you think he's like 2021,
Yeah.
and Lou was like, "No, your number's going down." So
Wow.
yeah, so 72 said goodbye. He went down to number 18 for us, and that's how we knew him. And I saw someone say like that they were like, "Hey, I'm happy to see Bo go back to number 72 because that was his number." So he's
Right.
basically essentially taking back his old number. I think
Right.
I have a picture up here of him in like number 72. I don't know if I do.
Yeah, your background's way cooler than mine, that's for sure.
No,
Meanwhile,
mine's not cool.
your new bow couldn't take 53.
Yes. My love from since 2010 has been Casey Zizekas, and he has been 53 since 2010. I know why Horvat wears it. If for those of you who don't know, he wore it for a past friend who passed away, and it was in honor of him. He was 35, right? And he just reversed the numbers.
Yes.
So he wore 53 for his in honor of his friend. But I think with 14 we were like, how does that intermix? And I thought it was really smart the way his wife and him thought of that. 1 + 4 is 5. 4 minus 1 is 3.
Yeah.
So with 14, so that works out to make still the 53 still intermingled in there.
Yeah, and Canucks fans that have trouble letting go, they thought maybe it's because he was the 14th captain in Canucks franchise history.
Oh,
So
that's interesting too.
yeah, that is a nice little tie-in, but probably not the motivator.
But yeah, I thought that was like a great way that he like snuck it in there since he's not able to take 53. And
Agreed.
knowing Casey Zizekas, I wonder if he maybe would have offered it for him. But knowing Horvat too, like I have to say, seeing Horvat's interviews with us since joining the team, I think I messaged you. I was like, I can see why you guys loved Bo so much because I haven't even seen him play. I haven't seen one thing of him on the ice, and I already love the hell out of him.
Yeah, he is. No, well said, Kim. He was a very well spoken, and especially the tire fire that the season has been in
Yes.
Vancouver this year, and yet Bo was out there after every practice, after every game, standing in there and taking shots for the team. And he's well spoken. He speaks in many hockey players do. They speak in they have word whiskers and their own comfort sayings and their slogans and cliches. But overall, he's a good speaker. I wouldn't say he's a great speaker, but he's a good speaker. He was a captain for the last 4 seasons, obviously, so he's a strong leader. And on a team full of personalities like JT Miller, it was important to have someone like Bo as a steadying force. And we can talk about his actual game in a little bit, but overall, as a person, salt of the earth for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you know what, his leadership in the locker room will definitely be in that. And I know that's something that probably made Lou love him even more. He loves his locker room, guys, but still, I think that's a great acquisition as well to have someone just step up and be another voice in the locker room. And we got someone showing some love here, Mr. Hot Take Hockey. This is his legendary duo pod.
Takes one to know one, or takes one to know two.
Damn straight.
John, we were just talking about the time you and Kim raided me the first time about 4 years ago, and I thought I had a virus infecting my computer. So,
We had to reminisce a little bit. We had to reminisce.
So Kim, forget about the contract. What were the Islanders fans' initial reaction to the trade? Truly,
Honestly, a lot of positivity with the signing. This is what we wanted. We got Bo. We didn't want him to be a rental. I'm glad. Like we're really glad for the extension. People took my view on Twitter. It's because it's hard to say in words what you're really feeling. I put on Twitter like it's weird, to sign 8 years, and like I wish I could have seen him play like a game before this contract dropped. It's like weird, but I also see the positivities of it. He was like down to just sign here right away with the team. He was down to just say like, hey, yeah, no, like I'm you want me to be here, I want to be here. He said that this is like one of his top trade destinations if he had to go somewhere, and I'm like, really? That doesn't happen with us. So I'm like, are you bullshitting me, or are we actually telling the truth? But he that it's nice to see a player who's like, yeah, I want to sign here, let's go for the long haul. So
yeah.
it was very interesting to see. It's just as Lou Lamorelli even came out and said the contract's too long and it's too much money. He straight up came out and said that before anything. They're like, so what's with the contract? He goes, it's too long and it's too much money. But that's the market nowadays. That's literally what Lou Lamorelli said. But he is right. It is the market nowadays, and to keep a guy like Bo Horvat, it's what I think sometimes you have to do. And we needed this extension, personally. And I told you that on the podcast. I think like a tipping point of whether fans were really happy about this is if we got that contract inked. And it happened. There's a lot of criticizers about it. Said they're like 8 years. Holy, maybe the length isn't my favorite. I got the money part. I saw that money kind of happening, but the length a little bit to me. I'm like, he's 27, 8 years. Whew, we're going right to the end. Like if he's, I mean, we had 45-year-old Chara. I mean, nothing's impossible, but it was just kind of shocking to me about the length.
Yeah, and it's so funny because any player, this, by the time someone hits true UFA status, they're 27, 26, 27 years old, depending on when they came in the league, and they're trying to hit that 7-year, 8-year, depending if you're your own teams, but say a 7-year contract for max money, and we know that by the end of that one, you're 33, you're 34, so it's one of those where you'll take the good 4 or 5 years and then worry about the last 2 or 3 at the end.
But they want that stability. And it's understandable that, these are players, they have, lives, they have families. They want that stability to know that they're going to be, covered at least maybe like to the end of their career. And it's understandable, absolutely. So, you know what? It is a bit much in my opinion, but if it was what we needed to lock him up, maybe it was, something we needed to do.
Projecting out, what's the Islanders cap situation? Like, Vancouver's cap situation is pretty tough. That's why we couldn't even entertain signing Bo.
Yeah.
What's it like for you guys?
With our acquisition of Bo, and you guys were retaining 25% or like a quarter of his contract, which I thought was like, that was a nice cherry on top. But in retaining a bit for the end of this year, we had like 11 million something in space. So this does pick up a chunk of it, especially since Barzell's cap hits into next season. His contract will start next season with us. So it's gonna be tight. It's gonna be very tight, and it's wondering players that we need to sign in this offseason. I think like one is Mayfield. Will they stay? Will we be able to keep them? Like I think Lou's just going all in for making the playoffs this year.
Right. And then next year it's Sorokin and Dobson, right?
That's a big one. Those are going to be big ones.
We're kind of hoping you would trade Dobson to us, but we knew that's probably a non-starter.
Yeah, you know what? But I thought Atu Ratu was untouchable, and then that happened. It's nuts. It's just absolutely nuts. That's why it was so surprising.
Yeah. What's interesting about the return too, Kim, is back last Monday when the trade happened, it would be different if we knew that Bo was going to re-sign with the Islanders, because I said at the time to you that because at that time he was a rental because we didn't know if he was going to re-sign. Then I said, okay, 3 assets for Bovillier, Aturatu, and the protected first. I say that's not bad for a rental. But now that we know that Bo has been signed for 8 years, greedily as a Canucks fan, I kind of wish we got a tiny bit more, but you can't make that prediction last year.
I saw a lot of fans asking that they couldn't believe they got more. I'm like, how much more do you want? Like, Jesus, got 3 assets for all of these people. I'm like, you guys need to chill. But I understand. Awesome. I mean, I kind of understand what they were talking about, but I like for rental status, I think that was like fine, and there was no guarantee we were going to sign him. There's always, negotiations. Does the player even want to sign in the first place? There's so many, conditions and stipulations with things like that. So it was. I can't believe it was done as fast as it was. Yeah. I thought it was at least going to take maybe a week or 2.
Yeah. They must have really liked his performance at the All-Star game.
You know what? And that was interesting too. During the competition, wore the Islanders fisherman, which I wish I wasn't the first jersey he wore. But everyone's got their own opinion about that. But interesting to see him introduced from the West, New York Islanders. I'm like, what is this? Like, what is, even during the All-Star game, even when he was
Yeah.
just playing, like, he was introduced as a New York Islanders player. Like, it was just very awkward. But
Yeah.
it was sad to see like the relationship between him and Petey.
Yeah. Canucks
And
fans were getting weepy. Yeah, they
yeah,
even caught Bo mic'd up saying one last time.
oh, that it's heart that was heartbreaking. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, watching, I was like, damn, that's sad, you know. And I understand it, you know. But Bovillier was Matthew Barzal's best friend. If you guys don't know, like Bovillier and
Mm,
Barzal were best friends. They played together in, you know, junior. They, you know, got drafted together, and they, you know, they were best friends on the ice. They did things in warm-ups together. You know, they had so much fun. And
yeah.
I'm glad we signed the Barzal contract before we traded Bo here, because I said that I think that would have been a big part of him maybe not re-signing.
Ah, gotcha. You mean if they had brought both, if they hadn't resigned him, they brought someone else in? You mean?
Like, if we still had Barzal to sign at the end of
Yeah.
the season,
Yeah.
and we just did what we did now, like, it's very upsetting for Barzy. He said, you know, he's excited for Bo to come in. You know, you're always excited for the trade. He goes very cliche in his answers. Barzell's very cliche. He just gives you what you want. But he said, like, it's heartbreaking to see, like, this guy's been, he'll always be my best friend. And,
Oh,
you know, like, things like that. So I think he's a little heartbroken about it,
yeah.
personally. But he's going to be playing with Horvat, and I think he may be excited for this change because he's needed a guy to play with a lot. And at practice today, their lineups, like I said, I thought they would move our first line, and they did. So Horvat's going to be centering with Barzal on his right wing.
And then who's on the left?
Who's on the left? I have to see from the lineup
Yeah.
again, because I just was like, oh, okay, they're together, you know, like things like that.
Yeah.
I got Andrew Gross here. He's our media guy to tell us the lineup.
What do you have him there? He's in your house? Oh, you mean on Twitter?
On Twitter. Andrew Gross, come out of the closet. Okay. You can come out. You can let me know. You can...
Yeah. Chat saying Bailey. Does that sound right?
No,
It's
not
not
Bailey.
Bailey.
Oh my
Oh.
God, they put Bailey. Oh.
Why? He's no good?
Oh, not Josh Bailey.
Who do you want there?
I was hoping for at least like them to put Parisi. I wanted to see at least Parisi up there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Parisi and Pageau haven't been bad, but no. Bailey, the problem with Bailey recently, and listen, Bailey's a great guy. I've loved him for years, and on the New York Islanders, but something's not clicking. He can either be, he's so completely inconsistent, and there's moments where he like wakes up and he's like, oh, this is hockey, and he's like scores and stuff like that, but there's a lot of where he just is standing around like forgetting how to play the game.
Wow.
And so I'm worried about that, but I think a reason he threw him up there is Barzal has had chemistry with Bailey. He's played with him a lot, so maybe just throwing him up there, seeing what can happen. But and all the players always attest to that he's a very smart hockey player. So we'll see.
It's funny. So I'm not saying this about Bailey because I don't know much about him, but
Yeah.
anytime you hear, oh, he's a smart player, it's basically saying, he's not very fast, or he's not very strong, or he's not very. No, I'm sure he's great. He's got great vision, great hockey IQ.
They say hockey IQ, and then I see him do things where I question. But our second line has been dominant with Lee Nelson Palmieri. We could have Fashing back tonight. It's a name that you definitely don't know. This is a guy with us who we brought up from the AHL.
Okay.
And he's been stellar play-wise with us. He's an older player as well. But
Fashing.
Yes, Fashing. His name is Fashing.
Does he dress well, or? Well, that's fashion. Never mind.
Boo. Boo. But yeah, no, he's looked fantastic, and I've loved his play. So it's a question of whether he'll play tonight because he's been hurt. But yeah, I'm honestly excited about it.
Okay, so in the perfect world, you'd have Horvat, Barzal, and Parisi.
Parisi, yes.
Yeah.
I'd be very excited about that line. I would rather see Parisi as that left wing right over
And
there.
then
I
and
don't
then
want to
no,
move Lee because
right.
that Lee Nelson Palmieri line has been like yes, keep it going.
So
That's the
then
only
you
line that's been producing.
yeah. So
So
then you drop Bailey down to Pageau, and then who plays on their right?
I feel bad for Pageau because he just always has inconsistent line mates, and then he has Holstrom on the right wing, who
Okay.
Holstrom's been like we had him as a first round pick. Please do something.
Mm.
But yeah, it's kind of like I call it like the project. We had the Michael Dow Cole project that didn't work out. Now I think
Yeah.
we're having the Simon Holstrom project that's not working out. So, and yeah,
Wow.
Dobson's a game time decision. So we have Wotherspoon and Bolduc ready to go if need
Okay.
be. So that's for my Islanders fans for the game tonight. This is what we're gonna see for the Flyers tonight, and then we go back to back tomorrow against the Kraken.
Really?
Yeah, so we're doing a back to back. We go tonight against the Flyers, tomorrow at home against the Kraken,
Yeah.
and then we play you guys
I
Thursday.
know, on Thursday.
It's gonna be at home for us, so I know a lot of Vancouver fans are gonna feel very distorted.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, because we go Jersey tonight. Yeah, we're doing the New York swing. So we got Jersey tonight, Rangers on Wednesday, and then Islanders on
Yes.
Thursday. It's pretty cool to have the teams play against each other within a week or 2 weeks of the trade.
Yeah, it's gonna be like this is the same thing with Bovillier. We're gonna see Bovillier playing for you, and we're gonna be like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be the same thing. Bo Horvat scores. Oh wait, like yeah. Oh.
So I'm not going to put you on the spot, and I'm happy if you want, I can tell you a bit about Horvat's game and have your listeners or your
Yeah,
viewers
please
learn a
tell
bit.
for the Islanders fans. We want to hear it straight from the Canucks fans.
What have you heard though? And just not to put you on the spot, but I'm putting you on the spot. What have you heard?
Yeah. What like first thing I heard about Bo Horvat. See, I'm doing it again. First thing I heard about Bo was obviously his finishing power this season, that he's worked a lot on his shot and that he's improved it, and that his finishing game has much stronger, as I can see from his stats this year. 31 goals, 24 assists for 54 points. Like he's on a roll this year. But I've also heard that, not only with his leadership on the ice and a good locker room guy, he's had a good two-way game. And that's something that Lane Lambert, and he learned very well from Barry Trotz. And so he wants it a little bit both. He's not as, I would say, anal about like the two-way game as Barry Trotz was. But, having someone back there to support, Matthew Barzal now comes all the way back to save our defense's ass sometimes, could be a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, no, that's actually pretty accurate. So, the one thing that we loved about Bo, among many things, was he always found something in his game to improve on. When he got drafted, Kim, he actually wasn't that strong of a skater. In fact, you'd argue that was one of his weakest parts. But he did a lot of work on his skating, where now he's not he's not the fastest guy you ever see, but he can certainly accelerate quite quickly. He's a pretty powerful guy, so he's got powerful strides. In the face-off circle, he's a maniac. He has never gone under 50%. So he doesn't have, and this year 56%, last year 57%. So you need to win the first draw on the power play, the first draw on the penalty kill. He'll be your guy there that way. and yes, the finishing. He's worked on his release. You know how guys like Matthews and McDavid, they got a really deceptive release where you can't tell when it's going to come off the stick. Horvat worked with Adam Oates. It's been a long, well-publicized story. So he's worked on his release, and not only getting the shot off from the bumper position in the power play or from the slot, but also his hand-eye is really good. A lot of his goals are on deflections, so he's not afraid. He's not the biggest guy. He actually doesn't take a lot of penalty minutes. That's one thing. I'll talk about that in a second. But so he's got really good hands, decent size, and he's got decent speed, so he can get into the spots. And I'd say, you got to be good to be lucky to be good. I say his shooting percentage is a little bit inflated. It's like 22% right now. So that's going to come down obviously to a 15% eventually. And I don't know if that happens because of the Islander system or naturally, whatever. He's had some really gifted offensive players to play with in Vancouver, not so much defensively. So those are all the good things. He's got a great shot, great release, good at tip-ins, good leadership, as I mentioned, and great in face-off circle.
I'm glad you said graded tip-ins because that is something the Islanders love to do. That
Really?
that is something with Anders Lee. He's a tip-in master. He gets in that that slot area, and goes for
Ah,
every single tip-in in front of the net. There, that's what
good.
Anders Lee loves just as much as Bo Horvat loves.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's kind of good because Matthew Barzal likes setting up.
Oh, good. So,
Matthew Barzal is a setup guy.
well, and perfect. It's like we planned it, but we actually didn't plan it. But we have chemistry. So one knock on Bo is he's not a playmaker, and it doesn't mean you just because you're a center you have to be a playmaker.
We have
But
plenty
often,
of playmakers. We need finishers. So
okay, good. Then
that's fine.
he'll fit right in on the Canucks. Yeah, obviously we have Pedersen, we have Miller and Besser and guys like that. But oftentimes when Horvat's the center of a line, he doesn't always make his wingers better from a playmaking standpoint. So if
Yeah.
you tell me that Barzell is a great playmaker, that's really good. He'll still drive that line. Then Horvat will be more of a finisher. So that's one thing is he's not the strongest playmaker. Two other things real quick. He's got decent size. He's not massive, but he's not small. But he doesn't use his body, I think, as well as he could. In that he is quite thick and he's a strong guy. But he doesn't. There'll be often times where you'll see the stat line after a game, and he'll have 0 hits or 1 hit, and you don't need him crushing everyone, but you like to see him a tiny bit more engaged. And then finally, yeah, the two-way part's interesting because I think when we drafted him, the thoughts were, oh, two-way center, and then he wasn't really the best defensively throughout his career. I think he has gotten better in the past couple of years. It's been a bad team that he's played on, of course. So I don't expect him to be like racking up any Selke nominations or whatever. But he's responsible enough. But I don't think he's ever going to be evolved to like a Stone Bergeron type. Not that we expect that. So those are some of the good and the bad with Bo. But and off the ice, the leadership is huge. And I know you guys have strong leadership already there, but he'll be a good addition to that as well.
Yeah, I would say my strongest down take is that the physicality of him.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something that changes. But yeah, no, like Anders Lee's not the most physical guy, but he'll lay the hits out here and there if need be.
Hmm.
I say the Islanders are a team we are based off of protecting our own kind of
Yeah.
thing. And something that made Islanders fans fall in love with Pageau game one was he did a suicide pass to Michael Del Cole. And Trouba just destroyed Michael Del Cole. And it's his first game with us. Pageau doesn't know these guys very well. He's
Yeah.
barely played with him. And he dropped the gloves for Michael Del Cole.
Wow.
He dropped the gloves for Michael Del Cole and gave it at Trouba. And
Yeah.
he's Pageau's tiny.
Yeah.
Pageau's a little tiny guy. So like watching him do that was like everyone fell in love with him. Everyone's like, okay, this guy's a New York Islander. You know what I mean? Like he came in and he even scored that
Wow.
that game against the Rangers. It was nuts. Like Pageau's first game, I will never forget. So I'm
Hmm.
excited to see Horvats tonight. Will it be on a different track? Maybe he comes in, he kind of surprises everyone. Maybe this
Yep.
is, I don't know, but yeah, I think he's gonna stick to his roots.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think so. Sixers roots. I would like to see a little bit more physicality. I like the physicality from my players, but it's as long as he's doing his job and putting the puck in the net, we're gonna be okie dokie.
So who's been doing all the scoring for the Islanders this year? When
Brock
they do
Nelson.
score?
Brock Nelson. That's why
Okay.
he was chosen as our all-star in my opinion.
Uh,
Brock Nelson is our top leading goal scorer.
mhm.
And like I said, him, Lee, and then Palmieri coming back. That has been such a stellar line. Palmieri is a guy who is just 100% drives the net. He will
Mhm.
get any opportunity towards the net, and that gave opportunity for Lee, who loves banking it in, and Nelson. Again, he's a guy who he will get the puck and he'll drive for one of the corners. So that's
Ah.
been our productive line so far,
Yep.
because of again Nelson has been finally producing for it. He had like a little dry period, but he started producing again, as well as Anders Lee. It's just been consistent in goals.
Hmm. Hmm.
And like I said, playmaker Barzell, he leads in assists. He
Wow.
leads in assists for our team. Like it's actually between him and Nelson. Him and Nelson, I think, go back and forth with assists. But
Okay.
Barzell has been huge as our for assists for us. I think he had like over 20, like so fast.
Yeah.
Let's
So
see.
I'm looking at the standings, Kim, and you mentioned that
Yep, Barzell,
obviously.
31 assists.
Okay. Cool. 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 And obviously, this trade was made to help the Islanders get in the playoffs. They're a couple of points out with a couple of games not in hand, I guess, over. What do you think? How are you feeling now?
still feel incomplete. I feel like there's still maybe something the Islanders need to grab. I feel maybe towards the trade deadline, maybe there's another piece that we can possibly go for,
Mm,
because I feel like one player is not going to fix a whole team issue.
right.
Am I excited for Horvat? Hell yes, I am. But do I think he's going to solve all of our scoring problems? No, he's one guy.
Yeah.
He's one guy. He's not gonna be like the savior. You know what I mean? Like people think think that, but I feel like it's still incomplete in a way. And I feel like maybe possibly grabbing one more asset. I know they're like the Islanders have been still talking about Tarasenko. Things like coming towards St. Louis Blues way. But the fact that we heard about that makes me think less that it's gonna happen. It's a little Lamorello. But who knows? Maybe it's still on the table. Maybe things are still being talked about behind the scenes. But it's going to be very interesting to see what we would give up for that kind of trade. Because I saw Bovillier being traded. I was like, okay, if we're gonna go for an asset, we have Bovillier that I think a lot of people would be like, hey, we'll take a Bovillier.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been really going, doing a lot as much. Right. For us recently, which it breaks my heart too, because I love Bo. He's on my wall right here. That's the guy celebrating right there. That's Bo.
Ah, there he is.
That's Bo doing the little slide right there.
Maybe each of our Bows will score tonight, Kim.
Oh, you know what I just realized? I have a sticker of Bovillier on my car. Oh, that hurts. Oh, like, no!
What? Is it permanent? No, you can take it off.
No, I can take it off, but it's sad. Maybe I'll replace it with a Horvat sticker.
Well, I have a Horvat stuffy I can send you, but he's wearing 53 with a Canucks jersey, so we'll see.
But yeah, no, I have a picture of Bovillier and Matthew Barzal. I don't know if you know, the Islanders do like we do an annual puppy calendar.
Oh.
So it supports American vet dogs, so all the money gets donated, and we have a calendar with Islanders players and puppies.
Awesome.
And so that's like a picture of them together holding the puppies together. It's like I have it as a sticker. It's on my car. It's on my laptop. And yeah, no, it's just like something that just makes you happy. I really hope to see next season Bo Horvat with a puppy on our calendar.
I'm sure you will.
I will send you the photo. And
that is awesome. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing what Bovillier does for us. From all accounts, he seems really excited to be here. Maybe to get a kind of a fresh start, and then as obviously you know this, he's only got one more year left on his contract, his $4 million contract. So they're already talking about if he does well, or is this a piece that you move next year before re-signing him? Because Canucks have a lot of not saying he's overpaid, but a lot of highly paid wingers in Mikheyev, Besser, Garland, Kuzmenko. Now Bovillier, and Pearson. There's 6 that all guys that would fight for the top 6 spot.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, absolutely makes sense.
Yeah,
I wish the best for. Well, he's probably excited to be back in Canada. He's a Montreal kid, but he's probably excited to be back in just like on a Canadian team. He's going to be based in Canada, so he's probably a bit excited about that, I think. But yeah, no, he's a Montreal kid. He loves playing against the Canadians. For some reason, he loves scoring against the Canadians. Something a little extra about Bo there. For some reason,
we want him scoring against everyone.
Who doesn't?
Even you guys.
We just need scoring in general. Thank you. But Bo, again, he learned from the Barry Trotz system. I think he's he gets back a little bit, but he will definitely drive the net any chance he has. It's just about getting it past the goaltender for him right now, that he's got like a little monkey on the back. But other than that, he can really finish.
So Horvat's gonna take a picture of a dog, and Bovillier's got a monkey. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. There you go. A lot of animals involved here. And then the contracts, like I don't like the Canucks couldn't do like an 8.5. I'm assuming they wouldn't be able to. I know the final you said was like 7.5.
Yeah.
So are you happy with Horvat and this contract? What was your opinion about seeing the extension?
Well, it's crazy. In the summer, Frank Cervelli and others were reporting that the Canucks offer may have started with a 5 or a 6. So even if it's 6-5 or 6-7, that seems low when
That
now
is
remember,
kind of low for your captain.
yeah, this was the start of the season before he exploded
But
for his
you gotta lowball it too. You
you
do have
do.
to lowball it too.
Of course, because they're going to come in here, you're going to come in here, and then yeah.
Yeah.
But then to see Miller get 8, and then you getting offered 6 and maybe even 7, and then to outplay Miller, yeah, it's unfortunate, but as I mentioned off the top, it's not a surprise at all. I think the more surprise, Kim, you nailed it, was when it happened and where he's going to, because
Yeah.
everyone here was talking about Boston or Carolina or Dallas, like a true contender that is already in a spot and just needs someone to help plug, a second line hole kind of thing, as
Mhm.
opposed to maybe asking him to be the first line center where you guys are.
Yeah, no, I saw a lot of reactions like that. They're like, "Wait, the Islanders?" Like, and I love that. I love that sometimes. I like being that little team where people are like, "What, like them?" And I'm like, "Hell yes! Welcome to the party. Welcome." Now you're gonna pay
Exactly.
attention to us. Now you're gonna be like, that's the things that's like I say as hard as an Islanders fan is respectability, having that respect. Yeah, I mean, you saw Paul Bissonnette slandering the Islanders and things like that. We're a boring team. No one wants to watch us. He does it for views for the podcast. It's like I understand they've done it for years. I don't know why people are shocked he's saying it again.
Exactly.
We even made T-shirts during the pandemic. There's a great company, fan-made company called Yes Men Outfitters, and literally made a shirt that says "Boring Long Island Hockey." Like, like we made a shirt out of it. Like, at this point, I'm like, I'm not. I wasn't even shocked by his comments. I was like, "Yep, whatever." Cool, thanks. That's why like winning in the playoffs means so much more to us. It's like
Mm-hmm.
respectability. Now you have to look at us. Now you have to see that we're a team to look out for, and that's why
Yeah.
this Bo Horvat acquisition I'm really happy about, because I feel like he can help us definitely with that finishing aspect, bring some respectability to our name, and possibly drive us into a playoff contention spot. So
Wow.
I'm I can't say I have a lot of hopes on Bo, but I kind of do. I hope he really helps this first line. Barzal's been needing that piece for a while.
Yeah.
So if he's a finishing guy who needs a playmaker guy, he's got that in Barzal.
And I can't wait to hear not only yours but responses of Islanders fans after you see Bo play for a couple weeks, and yeah, we can check back and you can let me know if he's all that he was made out to be, or
Yeah,
if anything surprises you about his game. But
yeah,
yeah, he works his butt off and he'll never take a shift off. So I think, the one thing I was going to say too, he's been very durable, Kim. Like aside from
yeah.
his
I saw
rookie season,
he's not very injury prone
no,
kind of
like
guy. Well,
82,
also that can do the
81.
hits.
Yeah, yeah. That's why. Yeah, maybe that's why. But yeah, 82, 81, then 64, and then 82, 69 in the short one, 56 in the short one, which so is every
Mhm.
single game. Then last year 70 out of 82, and then this year all 49. So
Yeah,
he rarely misses. Yeah,
yeah. That's something we've been needing too, because we've had Clutterbuck who's like made of glass, and things like that. So it's good to see someone like stay healthy.
exactly. That's what Jordan said. Jordan said in the chat, "Knock on wood." There you
Oh,
go.
yep, that's my boyfriend, so he knows me. So, but yeah, exactly. It's nice to see like someone who's going to be there. Dependability,
Yeah,
basically, someone who
yeah.
is going to be out there and be able to play for you. And sometimes things happen with players, like with Dobson's injury. Like it's just freak. It happens. Dobson was like on a 111 game streak or something like that. So like
Wow.
it's when you have like that, it's like okay, you get hurt, understand. But when Clutterbuck's out like every other game, it's been tough.
Yeah.
Been tough because you don't have that. You can't say, oh, that's going to be the fourth line, or oh, this is how we're going to do things tonight, because you lose a key player here and there, and then you lose a chemistry of that line. So it's tough. It's
Mm-hmm.
been tough with that. But I even said sometimes don't take much from New York Islanders Twitter. Some people love overreacting. Like if Bo Horvat doesn't score, like I even joked about it. I'm like, watch, I can see him not scoring tonight, and people going bust trade. Why do we do this? This is awful. Oh my god, we can't get. He doesn't finish. Like one game, and I swear to you, there will be fans saying that. I swear
I
to you.
I will be looking out for that. And by the way, speaking of fans, it's really interesting to hear you say that what Bissonnette said about Islanders being a boring team, because back here in Vancouver, we don't know a lot about the team, just because out of sight out of mind kind of thing. In my mind, I always thought they were a hardworking team with what I call nondescript players. Like to me, because I don't know them, I think of Lee and Nelson and all these guys that I simply just don't know how dynamic they are. Like Barzell, he's from Vancouver, the area, so we know a lot about him. But
Yeah.
aside from that, I just saw this team that would constantly make it to the playoffs, the Final Four, the semifinals, whatever it may be, and that's way more consistent than what the Canucks have been. So, would you rather have not in my words, nondescript or not my words, boring team like, but a safe, steady team versus a team like ours that every game is very exciting, but that's because we're losing 7-6 half the time.
Yeah, yeah. There's so many goals, but not for good reasons.
I know. Yes.
Like you want a lot of goals, but not with a lot against you as well. Like it's kind of like that's like the I find like the formula of trying to outscore your opponent because you let in so many. Like
Yep.
that's not a good formula. Us, it's trying to like if we gain lane, try to keep a lead, but if we go down by 1 or 2, it seems that we deflate because we know we're not going to get it back. Things like that with us. It's been very difficult in that aspect.
Right. Right. So do you think they're going to make it? Do you think they're going to catch up?
I want to see this game tonight, and then I can make then I can make an estimate about it.
Okay, that's
then
fair.
maybe we'll see it. But I love Lucas. Not Lucas here. Lucas Gates saying Canucks Twitter overreacts too, and don't worry, we all saw 2011. It's okay.
Yeah, we're trying to forget about that. Yes, yes. But
Obviously, it's not
Lucas
all
is
Canucks
right.
fans. That wasn't all
Yeah.
Canucks fans, but
Yeah.
I can't believe that happened. I can't. That's what I love about hockey. It's like just like the passion.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's so much passion, but I love it.
And give me 30 seconds about this. What was so painful about 2011? Forget about the on ice loss to the big bad Bruins. What was horrible is just 18 months earlier, we had a beautiful Winter Olympics where we showcased Vancouver to the world, and the weather was awesome. Canadian hospitality, people are great. The scenery, it was so good, and Vancouver was like the pearl of the world when it came to a destination spot. And then just 16 months later, to see that happen in the city was so jarring, and that was really tough. But I'm okay with it now.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been 12 years. We've had a long time to. But honestly, it was a lot of passion that night, and I understand, being upset, losing. Honestly, when we lost against the Lightning, I felt that pain. I felt that pain like so much because honestly, no offense to Montreal fans, but if we were in the finals, we would have won the Stanley Cup. And I said that was the Stanley Cup final right there. Yeah. That was it right there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so I feel that pain, and I not smashing cars pain, but I felt the pain.
Pain all around.
Exactly. It was pain all around. Pain fest. We're used to pain fests on our own teams. We love them to death, and we will do anything for them every single season. But they also give us a lot of pain.
Very pain.
And I honestly, I feel like, especially this Bo Horvat trade, a lot of Canucks fans reaching out saying, "Please take care of him. We love him so much." And that really speaks about his character. To me, is when you see fans going, "No, not him. Why would we trade?" It really speaks a lot as a fan saying, okay, this is, you can tell how much the fan base loved him. This is a really quality person we're getting. I felt that about Romanov too. A lot of Montreal fans said the same thing. They're like, no, not Romanov. What are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, good. Okay. Cause I didn't really know much about Alex Romanov. So, and I'm really liking him. So
no, he's a good young player. No, he's going to be good. He was the answer to, I don't know if you play Ordle or Gordle, any of those games. He was the answer to one of them yesterday with his floppy hair. Yes.
With his floppy hair. Yeah. What do you think about Bo Horvat having to shave?
Is that the rule?
Yes. Lou Lamoriello has like a New York Yankees rule. Have to be clean shaven, short hair.
That's fine. Horvat, even when he has his little mustache or beard thing, it's not very strong. It's kind of like even worse than if I tried to. No, probably a bit better if I try to grow something. So he'll be fine. He's a good looking guy. He'll be fine, clean shaven.
But Lucas, thank you so much for the 5. He says New York Islanders fans, Vancouver fans, shaking the hands.
Yes.
Clay and Kim, a part of Legend of Hockey super fans. I appreciate that, Lucas. Thank you so much for your 5, my man.
Yeah. Very
Lucas
is very generous. Very generous. Yeah.
I think, that's why we do what we do. I feel like, as you're a super fan, I'm a super fan. We need an outlet to kind of talk about sometimes our pain with this team, but also our love for this team.
Yeah.
That's why we're doing this podcast, and it feels amazing to be able to sit down with you and talk about a big trade like this. To get your perspective as a Vancouver fan, because Bo Horvat, we have the an outside perspective of him is so much different than a true fan. Following the team every single game perspective. And it's the same thing with Bovillier. I feel for you guys. You know about him, but you don't know the intricate details of him.
Yeah, exactly. Ditto for you. I was so grateful for you last week when I spent half the day learning how to pronounce Ratu's name. I don't even say it with the proper roll, but yes, at least I know it's not Ratty. So I wanted to know about Ratu. I wanted to know about Bovillier. And by you coming on and not just educating me, but the people that were watching my show last week, huge help. And I'm still getting great feedback about that. So I think we'll have to do a end of season check-in when the Islanders are maybe or maybe not fighting for that wildcard spot, where we're still trying to figure out what we're doing, and we can see how our respective bows did on each other's team.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. We can see how the bows are doing, but I'm telling you, Ratu is going to be a nice piece for you guys.
I'll hold you to that.
It breaks my heart. I made him a sign for his first game over here. I made him sign it. Like he doesn't smile. He goes, you see you skated by, and you know what's sad? I have a puck over behind me of his OT goal and like Bridgeport and things like that. Oh, it breaks my heart.
See, you can pull that look off when you make that Ratu face. You can pull. If I did that, someone would call the cops on me. So good job. Good job.
You want to try it? You want to try it?
No, I don't. You keep going. You're the better looking one. You keep going.
But I'm going to say in chat, since we have Clay here for the last 10 minutes of the podcast, does anyone have any questions for me? Does anyone have any questions for him about Bo Horvat? Especially since, here's your fountain of knowledge right here. Like, go for it. But yeah, just throw at us any questions you have via Islander side or Canucks side for him. Throw them at us, because this is the time to get any and all information, especially like I've thrown all my questions at Clay, and give me all the deets, because tonight I want to see him, put into action. I want to see what, and again, I'm working tonight, so I'm only going to get like a little snippet. I'm setting my phone up on my desk, and like Beautiful. If I have the opportunity, I'm going to be like,
yeah, there you go. And if you don't have a question to type in, just try say Bo Horvat 5 times fast. We bet you can't do it without saying Bo Horvat. It's just the hardest, it's the weirdest
so
name.
It's so difficult because you go into a vowel into another vowel, because the H is like kind of silent, and Bo Horvat. So you go O. And that's why that happens, because you just sweep into the next vowel, and that's why that's difficult.
There we go.
All right. We got it straight up from Lucas here. He says, Clay and Kim, would you ever visit each other's rinks? Kim at Rogers Arena, Clay at UBS. Listen, it's been a goal of mine. I want to hit all 32 rinks. That's been a goal of mine. That's a bucket list kind of thing for me to start checking off. I'm doing Montreal this year, trying to, I'm checking off this is my first time outside the United States. I'm leaving this Thursday. I'm so freaking excited.
Wait, what you're going to Montreal, and what's the reason?
Well, I was supposed to go in 2019, and 2 weeks before that trip, COVID hit.
Yeah.
And I was devastated. So they kind of like, for the Islanders, I'm going with the booster club. They said, they owed us tickets, and so they came through on their promise, and now we're getting our tickets. We got our tickets back from Montreal, so I'm finally going to be able to check Montreal off the list. I want to hit every single rink that I can. So if I have to do one a year, so be it. I will do one a year. And so, yeah, Rogers Arena, it's on my list. What about you, Clay?
So hold on, the club organized this for you, or the booster club did?
To the booster club.
That's amazing.
We have a fan club that's been around since 1972.
Yeah.
A lot of teams have boosters. I think Vancouver even has a booster club of
Wow.
fans, and we have conventions every year, like during summertime usually.
Yeah.
I remember when I was 16 years old, the New York Islanders hosted it.
Oh,
And
cool.
so we had, all of the fan booster clubs come down.
Yeah.
You do tours around your area, things like that. So we had like winery tours, we had the 9/11 museum, things like that. Where I remember two of my favorite things about the trip. And you stay at the hotel and you have like fun party nights. You have like theme nights at the hotel and things like that, and enjoy
That's
each
all.
other's.
Oh.
I went to LA in 2015 to go
Wow.
look around, the LA area. I got to see, what was the Staples Center.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, new name, I keep forgetting. It's like a
Yeah.
gambling thing now or something. Like
Yeah, who
it's like
knows?
Bitcoin Arena. Bitcoin
Yeah.
Arena, I think. But yeah.
I don't know. They should change it. Well, so to answer your question, that's very cool. To answer your question, I would love to watch a game at the Islanders Arena. And small trivia fact: I've told you this before when you were on my 24-hour live stream last year, but for your viewers, they might find this interesting. 25 years ago, almost took a job to work at a small Catholic church in Lindenhurst. Our Lady of
Oh,
Perpetual Help, Lindenhurst, Long Island. They flew my wife Gail and me, fiance at the time. They flew Gail and me down there, and I was this close to taking a job in Lindenhurst, Long Island.
yeah, I know exactly where you were going. That's
Yeah, yeah. There you
crazy.
go.
Joseph says, does Lou make another move at the deadline? Yeah, personally, I think he should. Possibly could only be a rental though via what's going on with us. But I think I could think maybe it could come. Definitely.
Hmm.
Joshua says, will Clay be watching the Isles tonight?
I'll be watching Canucks play the Devils nearby you guys, and then I have to do a post game show for Steve Dangle's channel. So, but I will have one eye glued to
Oh,
Twitter or
okay.
something. Yeah, so I will. I
Mr.
will.
Sportsnet over here.
No, 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 no. Just the YouTube channel SDPN. But still, I'm doing the post
Doesn't
game.
matter. You've made it in the world.
No, no.
You've made it in the. See, he made fun of me, but he's promoting you, so we're good.
So as much as I want to see how Bo's doing, I do have to focus on Canucks Devils tonight. But
Yeah.
yes, I will. I'll find out.
John has a question for you. He says, I have Canucks are having a very bad season. Not Bruce's fault. Love to
Yeah.
Bruce. Thoughts on Canucks season? I've watched BW hockey. He is a Canucks fan.
Cool. Yeah, John, it's been disappointing. You look at the talent that the team has, especially up front, and then with Thatcher Demko in net, and then we always knew that D was going to be a problem for us. But because Demko had a really poor start to the season, then got hurt in November, it really derailed any chances, hopes that the Canucks had for the playoffs. So unfortunately, there's a lot of the term around Vancouver now. There's so much noise. Boudreau replaced by Tocchet. Did Rutherford not like Boudreau? I guess he didn't. What's Tocchet be like? The noise around Horvat. Is Besser going to be next to get traded to answer another question? So there's so much noise going around this team. It's been for a content creator, no lie, and Kim knows this. It's been great actually because there's always something to talk about. But as a paying, it doesn't matter how much you spend. I invest a lot of time, energy, and money into this team. I want to see a winner, but I do recognize that at this point, it actually benefits obviously be closer to the bottom this year than a team that's gonna fight but not make the playoffs. Which I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen to the Islanders, but I know we only have 5 teams below us in the standings, so that's kind of what we have our eyes on right now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. Jordan says, Clay, who else gets moved from the Canucks? I know you
Yeah,
just said about Brett Besser.
yeah. So the three UFAs, penny UFAs, were Horvat, Kuzmenko, and Shen. Horvat's gone. Kuzmenko got extended, and Shen. You could get a mid to late draft pick for him. He's not going to be a top four on someone else's team. He's a top four on our team. That's how weak our D is. Great leader. So I have a feeling they may keep him, even though it makes sense to move him. So it's going to be one of the glut at forwards. It's going to be either Besser or Garland, and Besser would seem to be more appealing. So you can build him up for the next 10 to 12 games before the trade deadline.
There you go. HSM Fangirl Gaming says, score prediction for Thursday?
Ladies first, my dear.
Evil. Okay. Now, like, again, like, our defense hasn't been so spectacular. Losing Dobson sucks, but we got Pellick back with Pullock, which has been kind of nice. It's been a boost, I think, that the team's needed. God, I can't ever predict scores. I'm so bad at this. Even, like, my Stanley Cup playoff like picks are horrible. Like, you want me to predict scores, and I also feel like I jinx it in a way.
Go ahead, jinx it. Pick the Islanders, jinx it.
I think Marley tonight, Sorokin tomorrow. I think they'll still start Sorokin against you guys. Just personally, because he's been our number one goaltender. But Varlamov, his last performance was absolutely incredible. Those two, I don't know if you saw his stick save last week, 2 weeks ago now. Just I love it. In his interview, he's like, I got lucky.
That's awesome.
I don't know if I can predict. I again.
Okay, well, you, him, and Hall. I'll actually make a decision for us. No, for me. I've gotten the score once right out of 49 games because I always predict 4-2 Canucks, no matter who they play against, because I always think 3-2 plus an empty netter, and it only came to fruition at the end of December, so it took me like 3 months. Having said that, I'm gonna go 4-2, but for the Islanders actually. As much as normally I'd want the Canucks to win, especially in such a big game.
We're dead.
But what I said about the Bedard sweepstakes or any of the top 10, that's gonna be good. I'm fine with going on the record saying Islanders 4-2.
It's going to be interesting because Bovillier is going to want blood, and I think Bo Horvat's going to want to definitely show up that night too. I don't know. I feel like Bo is going to be a little bit, I like a little bit saddened rather than wanting revenge. Like he's not
your Bo or my Bo?
You know, your Bo.
My new Bo.
Okay, Horvat. I'll say Horvat. Will help us out. I feel like Horvat's such a nice guy. I don't think he's gonna go. I think he's gonna want to score, but if he doesn't, he's gonna be like okay. Well, Bovillier, I feel like he's gonna want to come back and prove himself. So it might be a little bit something a little different, but
I like it.
Last time we played you guys, we beat you. So
you smoked us.
So I am predicting Islanders.
Okay.
On a good day. If we can score 4 goals, that'd be amazing.
Okay. That's fair. Toy fair.
I'll go with your prediction 4-2.
Okay, so we collectively say 4-2 Islanders.
Yeah.
All right.
Addie says, I predict Bovillier and Horvat score on Thursday. That'd be interesting. Bo and Bo score.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like that would be like the correction in the stars if they both at least get one on the board. At least both of them have like a little, something to go on there. But yeah, Clay, God bless you. Thank you so much for coming on the show and
my pleasure.
Helping out and helping, educate about Bo Horvat, because I know I was, didn't know much, and I'm glad, some people will rewatch this and go like, okay, like this is what hopefully we can expect, especially for tonight. It's gonna be interesting to see. I know you can't focus on the game, but I'm pretty sure you'll have it in the corner, like watching what's going down. And if Horvat scores, I'm messaging you.
Right, and I'll do the same about Bovillier, and then you know what we'll do is we'll come up with a little. Even though I predicted the Islanders to win, we'll come up with a little fun little thing for Thursday, and we'll
sounds good to me.
Out. Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, and your crew here is so good. I know you've worked hard to build up a really strong, tight, and just very supportive, loyal community. So keep up the good work, and thanks for asking me on.
And Lucas, thank you so much for the 5. He says, hey, Kim, if you ever come to Vancouver, I do work for RA. I hope to see you around the rink. Hey, I appreciate that, Lucas. I'll watch for you. I'll watch for you. But yeah, I just plug yourself again, just in case people just need a reminder.
Oh, you're so sweet. CanuckClay, both here on YouTube and on Twitter. And if you're up late, especially on the East Coast, like 2 a.m. late, I do a nightly show Sunday through Thursday at 11 p.m.
Yeah, I know. I'm a night girl now, so sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, Clay's live!" Like,
I get so excited when I see it. Yeah, it's crazy. Then I say, "Go to bed."
Yeah. But again, thank you guys, and thank you guys so much on YouTube. Again, I just end these podcasts. So I always end these podcasts, guys. Put in whoever your love for your teams are. Let's go Islanders. Let's go Canucks. Let's go Rangers. Let's go Devils. Let's go whatever your team is. Put in the chat, because your team would not be who they are without your passion and your love for them. That's what's so important. I love seeing everyone in the chat, from all around the league. So guys, keep supporting your teams. Keep the love. Bring the passion for them, because that's hockey, that's fandom, and that's what is fun. So guys, I'll see you next week. We're gonna hopefully have good news to talk about. So we'll see. But thanks, guys, and goodbye.